Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Online Teaching Show. Thank you for turning up live. If you are here, we'd love to hear from you. You can say hello in the chat and let us know where you are tuning in from. That would be awesome. And I've got a little bit of a different topic this week, but I think one that's going to be really exciting and interesting for online teachers who want to learn about growing their business and maybe other online opportunities to explore. And we're going to be talking to someone who lives and works on a sailboat. So I'm really excited to welcome Tanya in just a second. But this is a live where you can ask questions. So if you are here, feel free to use the chat. And if you're watching the replay and you've got any questions, I also will leave all the things that we talk about, links and things like that, in the notes of the show. So please welcome Tanya to the show. Thank you so much, Tanya, for joining us.
Hello. It's really great to be here, Tim. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I did an interview with you, and then I pulled you in to do one with me. So I love that we can share, content with each other. And you reached out to me about a month ago about a summit that you're organizing, and we're going to talk about that towards the end. But when you said you lived on a sailboat, I mean, that's the coolest thing ever. So I wanted to hear a little bit about that as well. So please introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do, and anything you want to share about life on a sailboat.
My name is, as he said, my name is Tonya Holden, and my husband and I live aboard our sailboat. And how this happened is that we were originally local small business owners, and it just wasn't going the way that we really wanted. And so we just bought a sailboat, sold all of our stuff, and moved aboard. And so, former small business owner turned digital marketer, and here we are today.
How many years ago was that?
That was 5 years ago.
5 years. Okay.
And of course, I make that sound like we just did it. And kind of to some extent, that's true. But if you don't mind, I can back up and kind of give you a little more detail about how that happened. So one night, my husband comes in. It's 8:00. We've been at work since before dawn, and now it's 8:00 at night. So dark to dark is what we were working. We had a plumbing company, and we also had a coffee shop, and we roasted our own coffee. So that also tells you that we didn't just work Monday through Friday. We also worked 7 days a week and sometimes nights as well. And it was just all consuming.
Yeah.
And Lewis came into the office that night and he said, this is like so exhausting. And I was like, you're right, it is. So here's what I think we need to do. I think we need to sell the plumbing company. I think we need to sell our big house in the suburbs. We need to downsize, focus on the coffee business for the next 5 years. And by that time, I think we'll be here. Here's where we will be financially. Here's where the business will be. Mm-hmm. And he just looked at me and he said, I am not doing that. Because, we were not in a good place already. And I mean, I know there's a way to make small business work, but we weren't happy. And that was the main thing. And so within a period of 6 months, that's what we did. We sold our house. We sold all of our business assets. We sold most everything that we owned, and we bought a sailboat and moved aboard.
Wow. I mean, some people, you hear about people who buy a van, right? And they do the van life thing. And that's a really popular thing even now, to sort of hit the road and things like that. But I would imagine like hitting the seas is a bit different than hitting the road. So were you sailors before, or were you how did you prepare for that?
Well, we were very naive. Let me just put it that way. Because I think that was kind of where we made our mistake. My advice to people is, if you want to go sailing, if you love sailing, then you should buy a sailboat.
Yeah.
It is not the RV of the seas, which I think that's kind of where we made our mistake, is that we'd always traveled. We loved traveling. Yeah. And so we thought that we would just buy a sailboat. We would sail the boat around. until we found a place that we wanted to live internationally. And then we would start
Uh-huh.
there. And
Okay.
well, that's kind of still the plan, but
Uh-huh.
it was, as you said, it was a lot more involved than we could ever have imagined.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
say, go buy a sailboat because you love to sail.
Yeah. Right. I get that, but I can see how it can be really exciting to think about doing, right? Hi, Cindy,
Right.
who's here, and hi, Tutor Massa. Great. Thanks, guys, for saying hi. I'm talking with Tonya Holden, who lives on a sailboat, and we're just getting into conversation about that. And also, we're going to talk about your work. So, I'm sure we could talk for hours about the sailboat thing, and that's not what this is about. But if people want to learn about that type of lifestyle, like, do you write about that, video that, or do you point
I
people in a
have
direction of that?
a very small YouTube channel that I've just started, called Nomadic Income, and we will
Nomadic.
talk about the sailboat there
Yeah.
because it kind of plays into what we're doing. Is that if you're going to live this nomadic lifestyle, you have to have a way to make money.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we do, focus on the income part of it, but there will be stuff in there about the sailboat lifestyle, especially as we leave and head for Mexico this fall.
Okay. Gotcha. Codeman says the craziest plans can bring us some of the greatest life experiences. Agreed. Agreed. Whether that's deciding to buy a sailboat or even, I look back to when I decided to just go teach in China. I was 29 and I thought that that would be a really fun thing, and it has turned into the craziest adventure. Hi, Katie. Thanks for tuning in. I'm intrigued about the logistics of teaching from a boat. So Tanya doesn't teach actually online from a boat, but we're going to talk about what she does and how I think she's a really great person to sort of open the doors to online teachers who want to see other online opportunities, right? So would you share okay, so you were a small business owner, and can you maybe share, like, how do you make it work, I guess, on a boat and money and stuff like that? Because that's a big shift, not only lifestyle wise, but also employment wise.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, here's kind of how it went for me. And
Okay.
I find that this is a typical experience that when you decide that you're going to work online, you try many things before you land on what feels authentic for you and
Right.
what works for you and whatever lifestyle you're leading. So, having been a small business owner, I kind of had it in my mind that I had been a small business owner. When you're a small business owner, you do everything in your business. You do the
Yeah.
marketing, you do the sales, you do all of the administrative work, you talk to
Accounting.
customers. So you think that you can just like hop online and create a business. It
Right.
feels
Right.
like that because you've been doing it for years, you're good at it, and you're just going
Yeah.
to transition online.
Yeah.
It didn't really work that way. It wasn't seamless. I tried a lot of things that didn't work. And I would say, kind of one of the funniest ones now, it wasn't funny at the time. One of the funniest ones is that I decided, since we were going to be traveling, that I could also kind of incorporate being a travel agent into those plans.
Uh-huh.
And so I went all in. I put up the website. I signed a contract with a company that does that. You have to have a license to book those kind of things.
Right.
And so I did all of the things to set up that business. I started selling stuff. I started selling vacations. It was going great. And then COVID hit
Uh-huh.
right then.
Uh,
I had to refund almost every single vacation that I
oh,
had booked.
oh my goodness. Oh, talk about tragedy. Like,
So it would have worked out great, I think, but it was just a timing issue. The timing
yeah.
could not have been worse.
Oh,
So after having done that, I was
you're
like,
smiling, but I know that that was a painful time. You're laughing now, but
"Eh." It was, but it was a painful thing. But I found other things to do. I pivoted. you don't really have a choice. You just have to move on. So during that time, I did a lot of web development. I really started to focus on affiliate marketing and learning how to do email marketing. And so, in the end, it was probably the best thing because I added a lot of, I won't say new skills because, I did most of those things already, the email marketing, the online piece of it, the web development. I had done that as a small business owner. And now I was just doing it for other small business owners. So that's worked really well. And then for a while, I also did some online sales, and I enjoy doing that as well. So those are the things that for me have worked out. And then, as I said, we're adding a piece here with the new YouTube channel and with the summit.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think, guys, if you're watching or watching the replay, as online teachers, I think we can resonate with the idea of pivoting and changing. Like, I've had to do that a couple of times. There was you may not know this about online teaching world, but a lot of us were teaching Chinese students, and there was a big kind of crash with all of that in China during sort of 2021. And so a lot of us had to pivot. And sometimes, as upsetting and difficult as it is in the moment, it forces you into learning and growing in other ways. And so I wouldn't look back and ever regret that because of what it's done, but it's like difficult at the time for sure. The expat teacher says, very interesting. Thanks for joining us. Katie had the same experience, was organizing summer camp. Yeah, I think we can always almost all point to that COVID time. And like, to be honest with you, for online teaching, it was like the opposite effect because it was such a boom. Everyone was learning online, and so many teachers wanted to move to teach online. So it was actually a period of growth for what I was doing, but for so many, it just wasn't. So you've tried a lot of things, and like some have worked and some haven't worked. What sort of, I guess, what tips would you give for people who are like, maybe I'm an online teacher, I'm making, $15 an hour, it's just not cutting it. Like, I'm made for something. I know that I'm made for something more. There's so many things out there, and we're often bombarded with scammy sales pitches and emails about, make $100,000 in a month. And what I really liked about you when we first talked is you really wanted to create this summit around just authentic, real people talking about real things, no fluff, and just here's what it took, here's what was hard about it, here's what you needed to do, right? So I don't know, what tips would you give for someone who's like right at the beginning of that journey and like, I want to try blogging, I want to try podcasting, I want to try YouTube, or I don't know what I want to do.
Well, and I think that's a good point, is that sometimes we look at things online and we think, oh, I could do that. And you probably can.
Yeah.
It's just that some of it you're going to try and you're not going to find it that interesting. You're not going to love it. But kind of how I think people should approach this, if you will kind of spend some time with yourself and think, okay, what is it that I like to do? And what is it that's going to be important to me about my life? If you don't want to work 60 hours a week, then you've got to put that into your list of what's important to me. If you don't want to be on camera, that needs to go on your list of things that you don't want. Or if you don't want to have an online store, or you don't want to be a vlogger, that you have to narrow that list of what's important to you. To me, it was going to be important that if I got to a location, that I didn't have to immediately start looking for a place that I could start uploading videos and getting online and working. And I didn't want to just have to film my entire life and put it online. So I had some criteria there that, I still wanted to be able to enjoy my life and enjoy it separate from being online.
Yeah.
And I had to look at all of those and say, okay, now I need to start looking for an online business that fits what I want to have as a lifestyle. And I think that's a very important first step for people. Most people are going from having a small business or from being in a 9 to 5 job, and they have to say, okay, what is going to make this new life work for me? And really sit down and decide what those things are. Then,
Yeah.
to your point about that there's so many voices online, that was really why I wanted to put the summit together, because I've been in the online world now almost exclusively for 5 years, and I have seen a lot of stuff. I've seen things that work, I've seen things that don't work, I've bought things that don't work. And so I think that you have to be really careful about the coach that you choose and the voice
Mm.
that you choose to listen to. And then after the summit, I'm going to spend, for people that choose to be one of our VIP guests, I'm going to spend 4 weeks with them after the summit, really nailing down what's important to you for a business. Let's choose a business for you. Now let's get you aligned with a coach. And now we're going to put together a 60-day plan for you so that you finish something, that you get something going by the end of the year, and that you can start 2025 already underway. So that's kind of the goal there.
I love that. And I think that is what stalls so many people, is the amount of voices out there and the amount of, sort of, what's the phrase? Just shiny object syndrome, where you see something. I've done it before too. I thought I was going to go full time into, this is crazy, but into crypto. And like, look, some people really get it, really good at it. But I bought like a $3,000 course and I never did anything with it. And I vowed that it would be the last time I spent a lot of money on something that I didn't really feel passionate about. And so I love what you said about, just thinking about what aligns with your lifestyle and what would be something that you're going to enjoy doing. Because don't do something because you think it has a big price tag on it and you're going to make 6 figures in a year. Excuse me, because that's just, far from reality in most cases, right? So, just jumped on Sailboat. Wow. Do you use Starlink for internet? I don't even know what that is.
Yes, I do use Starlink for
Okay.
internet. And really, that's one of the things. It's amazing how much that has changed a lot of people's lives that work online.
Mm.
Because 5 years ago, when we bought the Sailboat, the only thing that we had was a thing called Iridium Go. And
Okay.
it really was just a way that would allow you to send text messages, very brief emails, get weather grids and things
Mm.
like that online if you were offshore. And really, it was like the speed of dial up. That's
Wow. Yeah.
that's how that was. But
Crazy.
so Starlink has come along and changed it to where that's how I'm recording, or that's how I'm joining you today, is
Yeah.
by Starlink.
That's awesome. So I didn't ask you that. Didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but tell us about, like, what's a typical day on a sailboat with work and everything.
Well, I think it's like any other. It would be really like you're working from home.
Yeah.
If we're at anchor or we're in a marina, then I'm going to get up and have a normal day, just like anyone else. I'm going to get up, I'm going to make coffee, I'm going to sit down at my computer, and then, I have to do the work day that works for me. And for me,
Yeah.
that's spending a solid 3 hours working on things that will move the needle, things that are
Yeah.
important to the business. And then as the day goes on, it's later in the day, then I can check email and I can do some social media posts and things like that. Um, what makes it different to be on a sailboat? The things that make it different to live on a sailboat are just kind of the basic things are different.
Yeah.
Like, you have to kind of monitor how much water you're using, because you're
Yeah.
going to empty the tanks if
Right.
you consume too much water. You can't put anything down the sink. There's no garbage disposal. There's no dishwasher.
Yeah.
So, the just it's a
Life in
little
general is.
more life in
Yeah.
general is a little bit more involved. Like you have to be
Yeah.
more intentional about the things that you're doing to just live.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what you said about, just the sort of focus 3 hours a day and thinking about what's going to move the needle forward. And if anybody's watching, I mean, I've been listening to some podcasts about focus and how important it is to, as hard as it can be sometimes, to put away the things that are easy to do and that sort of make you feel comfortable because, I don't know, you've always done it. Like for me, it's things like responding to messages or emails, but those things don't move the needle forward, right? Like I need to get the sales page up for whatever offer it is, or I need to, like, the hard thing that I know is going to take a long time. So if there's anyone watching, like, and you're struggling with focus, like drill down to what are the, 2 or 3 things you need to do this week and do them, and don't do anything else until you get those things done. And I think that really helps you to see progress in your business. Absolutely agree. It's not about picking a cookie cutter business idea. It's important to plan a business around your goals, expertise, and passion. So, right, Katie, you're right. And I would now want to ask you a little bit about the summit. So what kinds of, I know that I did an interview, so I'm one of the speakers if about online teaching, of course. So I'm going to be there on the 3rd day. Is that right? 3rd day. So October the 3rd.
Yes.
But what are some other, give us a snapshot of like some other folks that are coming. I recognized a couple of names, which is cool. The house sitting ladies. Oh, I forget their name. Jody and
Nat and Jody. Yes.
Nat and Jody. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny. That crypto course I was talking about was purchased through someone that I went through them, and then they had this wonderful support group for it. I just never got into it, but they're great. So tell us a little bit about the opportunities that people are going to be talking about.
Yeah. I wonder if you and I were in the same crypto course.
Oh, maybe. Wouldn't that be funny? Yes, we probably were.
I had my own crypto experience.
Somebody.
I'm sorry?
Dan?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
We were. Yeah, well, that was the money that I spent that I never did anything with.
Well, then you were lucky if you did nothing with it, because I did. And then it because the very next year after that, crypto had a bad season. And that's when we had the Terra Luna stable coin that didn't stay stable.
You might as well be talking Chinese, because honestly, I can figure almost anything out tech-wise online, but there was just a mental block with it. And I do investing. It's so funny. But the crypto world to me is just, I really tried, but I couldn't do it. And I just, nothing against them. They weren't involved in me purchasing it. They had a good little group there going. But so anyway, enough about crypto.
We could go into way down a rabbit hole on that, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, so that's how you knew them. Yeah, so they're house sitters, and they're going to teach about how to house sit and travel for free, which is a really cool thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons, like the reason that I put this summit together, we've kind of already talked about it a little bit, but I did purchase a lot of courses, and because I think that having a coach is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't really prepared for the fact that there were so many people selling courses that weren't doing what they were coaching people on doing. They're just a coach. They learned how to do something, and it was to be a coach. They're not still doing what they're coaching about. And it just kind of really hit me the wrong way, because I would get into these courses and think, okay, this is going to be what works. This is going to be the thing that really helps me. And often it wasn't. That you would join a course, and the person that sold it to you, that was the face of that course, you never saw them again. You were passed off to lower level coaches on their team, or the information that was presented is outdated. If someone's trying to teach you how to do Facebook ads, unless they recorded it this year, it's not, it's obsolete. It's not even good information anymore. And so I didn't want that to just keep happening to other people. And I had seen a lot of in addition to having seen people that were selling things that weren't right, I had also encountered a lot of people that were very authentic people. What they were offering was a real solution, and it was something that you could move forward with. It could be a business that you were proud of, that you could tell other people about, that you weren't, these aren't people that are telling you that you're going to make 10 grand next week selling mugs and t-shirts. It's not that kind of thing. These are authentic business people that have created a life for themselves online. And then the other thing is that a lot of these people are also travelers, full-time travelers, or they're expats. So we have Amanda Abella. She and her husband are expats that live in Mexico. They have a YouTube channel called Entrepreneur Expat. And I was just editing her video last night, and it's great. It's such good content. And then I have Joe Robert. Joe Robert does print on demand, but he does it in a way that you can actually grow a business. And Joe still has 2 online stores that he runs himself while he coaches other people. He's even sold several stores in the past that, that he's built them to a certain level, and then he's sold them.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then, of course, you mentioned Nat and Jody, and I like what they do or what they're talking about, because it allows people, if they want to go travel, they can start now.
Yeah.
That it takes the stress off of having to pay for housing or accommodations wherever you go.
Yeah, that's right.
And, so we have RVers, we have expats, we have digital nomads, we have people that are making money as content creators, but we also have people that, like Joe, that are doing print on demand. I also have someone that I feel is a very authentic expert in network marketing, and he's going to talk to us. And of course, you're going to be there. And
and online teaching, I wasn't sure that it fit with what you're doing, but as soon as we chatted, I was convinced that it would be great. And I think that it's not a big money job in terms of like making millions, but it's an online job that's real, that you can do, and there's people doing it and showing you how to do it. And I think in our interview, the little chat we had about it, I think people will get some practical stuff out of it. So yeah, that's great. I had a look at the page. By the way, I'm going to drop that in the link there to Nomadic Income Summit. And this is not just for nomads, right? This is not just for travelers. Like, if I wasn't someone, I am an expat in Thailand, but I don't consider myself super nomadic. Like, I consider myself, I guess, a bit of a digital nomad in that I work online and I sort of have lived in different countries. But if I didn't, I still would be excited about a lot of these talks. So I'll just drop that link there in the chat. And, it's free. As you said, you've got a really great upgrade that I think if you're kind of someone that's like, I want to start a business, but I don't know what, this is a really cool option, guys. But at least join the summit for free and grab some of those speakers, because I think you'll find them really, really valuable. And I know with a lot of summits, I've ran summits myself, it can be overwhelming, and you've got 20 different online business opportunities in front of you, and that's can also create more paralysis for you. So go in just with a mind, I think, to learn and just see what's out there. And as Tanya said from the beginning, think about what resonates with your lifestyle and with what you would enjoy doing. Because if you don't enjoy network marketing, then that one isn't for you, right? Or if you don't enjoy YouTubing or podcasting or whatever it is, then, that's an easy X, right? And to move on to the next thing. So yeah. Cool.
Right.
So give us the details of it. When is it? Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah. And I think you just brought up a good point. It's not like you have to watch every single interview.
Yeah.
You can watch the things that resonate with you. If you don't want to buy an RV and travel around in your RV, you don't have to watch that one.
Yeah. But if you do, those would be people you want to follow. Like, you don't know where to learn about these things. You're going to learn from people who are actually doing it and are, real humans that are going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, and what they did to make it work. Right.
Yeah. And even if you aren't interested in something that a particular person is doing, you may get something really valuable from listening to them talk, because what I
Right.
found in this summit is, out of all the people, I mean, not all these people travel all over the world, but,
Right.
there's one woman that lives in Portugal, and, some of these speakers live in Europe. Some of them live in Australia. They're really all over the world. But there's just kind of a couple of things that run through their through line through all of their talks, is
Right.
that you're going to try a bunch of different things. You may continue to do multiple things.
That's right.
You have to be very flexible and adaptable.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that just kind of run through
Yeah.
through all of the interviews. But the summit is Nomadic Income Summit, choosing an extraordinary life, unique ways to live anywhere and work everywhere. And it starts on October 1st. You can register for free. Each day you will get 5 more interviews to watch, and you can run through those in a day and then watch the next ones the next day. And it'll go October 1st through the 4th. And then you can always upgrade. And then a lot of the speakers have thrown in some cool upgrades if you are interested in those.
Cool. So I like that. It's at your own pace. You don't have to show up live anywhere. You get the videos on those particular days, and you can choose to watch or not. So that's awesome. I really think what you've put together is really great, Tanya. So thank you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that we haven't talked about, or you can let folks know where to find you online, anything like that?
Really at this point, I would like for people to begin connecting with me through the summit. This is going to be kind of the direction that I'm going to head. All of these people are people that I've vetted. They're people that I think would make great coaches for anyone that is looking for a new direction to head or something to add to what they're already doing. And then, as I mentioned, as we follow up on the summit, that I'm really going to take people that are new to the online world or just want to learn more or need some new focus, that we're going to spend 4 weeks live training, once each week following the summit, to really nail down for people, here's what I want, here's what the business type of business I want, and then here's my plan to make it happen. Because,
awesome.
We all have to start to narrow the number of voices that we're listening to.
Right. I agree. Good. And you'll be a great one to follow. So thank you so much, Tanya. We went a little over time. Hope that was okay. Are you on your sailboat right now?
Yes, I'm on
Okay.
the sailboat right now. It just, these are like I cover them up because it just puts too much light into here when I'm online or on video. But yes, this is my little corner where
the first time we talked, I
record.
thought we'd see you kind of going like this, but you're pretty stationary, right?
It's not a good day if we're bouncing around like that in the marina.
Yeah, true. You're in a marina. Exactly. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. And folks, the link to join is in the chat and also below on Facebook and on YouTube. So please sign up and we'll see you there, and you can come hear me talk. But, I would encourage you to go listen to all the others as well. There's lots of great speakers. So thanks again for coming, Tanya.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
it was love chatting about this kind of thing.
Me too. Me too. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone, for watching. It was really great to connect with Tanya and to share the summit with you. I've been chatting with her for a little while, and we did our session last week, recorded, or 2 weeks ago. And so I'm really excited to also watch a lot of the other speakers who are going to be sharing about different online business opportunities. So again, the link to join is in the chat or in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. And if you've got any questions, feel free to email me or leave a comment on the description in the comment section of the video. Thanks again, and we'll see you next Monday.